Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside a rub and cheat, and not press the poor. Make up what I seen to. Make a man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan. Make a man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. Big man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Big man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead and can sell out Rasta and sell out, I sell out Babylon. If I throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing. If I throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black big man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rasta man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
The wife of the Prime Minister and Speaker of the House of Representatives came to Parliament like a real bitch on heat yesterday. I mean, if you don't know what a bitch fit means, you just got to go back and look at yesterday's proceedings in Parliament and how the wife of the Prime Minister sabotaged the nation on a critical issue. An issue concerns the nation's safety in the midst and aftermath of a hurricane. That's what we will be looking at this morning, whether you see it yesterday or not. But we over Yasso, TikTok, leave me alone on TikTok, reporting already. We over Yasso is going to have our own 2 cents on the disgraceful behavior yesterday carried out by the wife of the Prime Minister and Speaker of the House that exercised her telepatician yesterday by reading people's mind and is able to know what their questions will be and is able to shut them down before asking the question in the display of her telepathy. Good morning and welcome to Global TV. Thank you all for joining us this morning. They coughed too much last night. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning. Welcome. It's the morning after the night when she, Overdessa, stood in the way of the nation and said, you will not get any of your question answered because my mind tell me what your question will be and your question does not support my agenda. So therefore, the nation's question won't get the time for act. Me not go tell you no the roll call this morning. Come here, labor rights, me ready for you this morning. Anyone on dead meat eating labor rights feel to come and defend Juliet this morning? Come on. Because the way this biatched behaved yesterday, she no sabotage PNP, she sabotaged the safety of the nation. This was in relation to a hurricane, and we're going to go straight to Matthew Saboda's statement. For those of you, whether you hear it or you not hear it, we want to make sure you hear it. What happened yesterday, what Matthew Saboda's statement was about, and the attempted questions to ask, which she shut down, where she know what the question is, but to date, none of us knew what Southeast St. Mary was asking. Because after about 5 attempts to ask his question, Juliet Holness turned his mic off. And Juliet Holness continuously turns everybody else's mic off. Let's listen to Matthew Samoda's statement. Then we'll pull and throw things aside. Now, I've been asked this question. Why is it that they were allowed to continue after the People's National Party walked out of Parliament? Now, from my understanding, the quorum required for Parliament to proceed is 16 people plus the speaker. So they would have had the amount of people to continue Parliament's proceeding. Unlike when Andrew Holness and his crew walked out on Mark Golden during the budget debate. Mark Golden team did not have the quorum then because there were only 14 of them plus the speaker. And from my understanding, the quorum is 16 plus the speaker. So with their 30 odd, it would give them the quorum to continue their business amongst themselves, because it's no longer the business of the people in the way how Juliet Holness has operated things yesterday. But PNP a good pan uno, and uno stay with me. May I go tell you know why me glad said Juliet Holness behave like this. And I'm going to reiterate the step that I told you that the PNP can take to bring this under control. And this, after what happened yesterday, would have been the right time to deploy that political tactics against them. But let's go to Parliament debacle yesterday. And I want you all to listen carefully to Matthew Samuda's statement, because Matthew Samuda's statement is what caused the war. Elaine Turner, how are you doing? Everybody, how are you doing? Matthew Samuda's statement is what caused the war. Let us listen to Matthew Samuda's statement, then all that follows.
Minister from St. Anne Northeast, member from St. Anne Northeast, the Minister of Water, Environment, Climate Change will now make his statement.
Madam Speaker, I crave members in.
Bear in mind when you listen that Matthew Samuda is one who is known to lie. Matthew Samuda regularly lies when he speaks to the nation and matters of his portfolio. Bear that in mind when you listen to Matthew Samuda's statement.
Indulgence, because even while I was sitting here, the most recent update would have just come to us from the NOA in terms of their exchange with the Met Service. So this statements is actually being printed upstairs now currently, but I have shared the digital copy in our caucus, and I've shared it with opposition leader of business to share digitally in your caucus groups that you can follow digitally in the interim while the printing is taking place. With your leave, Madam
Minister, your indulgence, members, we are on the agenda item statement by ministers for the record.
So, Madam Speaker, I rise this afternoon to update this Honourable House and the people of Jamaica on the development of Tropical Storm Melissa, which has formed over the Caribbean Sea and is now posing a threat to several territories in our region, including our beloved island. Madam Speaker, Melissa's formation is a sobering reminder that this year's Atlantic hurricane season will not be ending quietly. As of this morning, reports from the National Hurricane Center, the division of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in the USA, which tracks and predicts tropical cyclones, indicated that the storm is churning approximately 480 kilometers, which is approximately 300 miles south of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or 630 kilometers southeast of Morant Point, with maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour and or approximately 85 kilometers per hour. Now that the area of low pressure has strengthened to a tropical storm, the system has slowed significantly and further decreased in the forward speed, and further decreases in the forward speed is indeed projected. Hence, the system is likely to linger in the Caribbean waters for the next few days and take a little while longer to reach our shores. We are now expecting to start experiencing heavy rains sometime tomorrow night at current projections, but to note that the situation is indeed fluid and the Hurricane Center and our own Met Service is indeed monitoring closely. Now that the area of current projections show that it could intensify to a Category 1 hurricane by latest Saturday, fueled by unusually warm waters of the Caribbean at this time of the year. I must emphasize that the increased heat is no doubt in our mind related to broad-based global climate change.
Right. This is the Minister of Climate Change. He's speaking on the heat in Jamaica. It is of their view, not the science, their view that the heat is is because of climate, not because of the science, because of the minister's view. Continue, Minister.
At present, a tropical storm watch has been issued for Jamaica. While the forecast remains uncertain, meteorological models suggest that Jamaica could experience heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and possible flash flooding, especially in the east, as the storm tracks northward later this week. We are particularly mindful of the potential for landslides in our mountainous parishes, especially in areas where soil saturation is already high, as we would have seen the October rains on in earnest even this afternoon. Madam Speaker, while the center of Melissa's projected path currently points towards Hispaniola, the storm's proximity to Jamaica demands our highest level of vigilance. As we have learned through experience, tropical systems of this nature can shift course with little warning, and even indirect impacts can bring significant disruption to lives, livelihoods, and property. Our emergency management teams, under the coordination of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, are on full alert. Importantly, I want to assure you that your government is working tirelessly to ensure that the systems we have developed to protect you are indeed activated. The Met Service of Jamaica, for which I have portfolio responsibility, continues to monitor the storm's movement closely and will provide continuous updates as new data becomes available. This administration is one that puts the concept of joined-up government certainly into practice. So the Met Service and ODPEM have been collaborating closely to ensure a smooth flow of information and preparatory activities. Relevant ministries and agencies have been advised to activate their preparedness protocols. In this respect, I'm also speaking and sharing on behalf of my colleague, Minister Desmond McKenzie, the Minister responsible for ODPEM, who is overseas on personal business. We are in close contact and continue to monitor to ensure that we're able to help Jamaica navigate this tropical storm threat. As you are aware, ODPEM is the country's primary disaster preparedness response agency and works closely with all local authorities in the preventative phase of disaster management. In this respect, disaster coordinators are on alert to assist potentially vulnerable persons in our communities across the island. Additionally, the island-wide network of 881 shelters will be made available as the need arises, and the shelter managers are already on alert and preparing the designated spaces. Later today, at 3:30 p.m., the National Response Team will be meeting to evaluate the situation and the next steps. This team is coordinated by the ODPEM and involves a wide range of stakeholders, including the Met Service and municipal corporations. On behalf of Minister Morgan, I am advising also that the NWA is currently assessing drains and will take necessary emergency action based on the current threat assessment. Madam Speaker, it is not lost on us that Melissa is the 13th named storm of the season, but notably the first to form in the Caribbean Sea. This detail is significant. The extended period of calm in our region allowed sea temperatures to rise to record levels, creating what scientists now call rocket fuel for storm intensification. This is yet another stark demonstration of the urgent climate reality confronting small island developing states like Jamaica, a reality that demands both local preparedness and continued advocacy for global climate action. It is important to note that Jamaica is coordinating with our foreign partners while monitoring the storm with its fully operational Doppler radar system.
Bear with me.
In the coming days, we will continue to prioritize public safety, accurate communication, and coordination among all government and community partners. We urge citizens, particularly those in flood-prone and low-lying areas, to remain attentive to official advisories, avoid misinformation, and take all necessary precautions. I encourage all citizens to monitor updates from services, ODPEM, JIS, and indeed the JCF. There is no need for citizens to panic, but there is the need to prepare and to follow official sources of information. Madam Speaker, I want to assure you that your government, led by the Most Honourable Prime Minister, who is also Chairman of the National Disaster Risk Management Council, stands ready to respond to any eventuality. While we hope that Tropical Storm Melissa will spare our island significant impact, as it appears it may, we must prepare for the worst, even if we pray for the best. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Now, bear in mind that this is a statement in relation to the hurricane. Yeah? Omar Newell, I think, had a brilliant response to him. Let's go straight to Omar Newell, because after Omar Newell, this is where the rough and tumble comes. Let's listen to Omar Newell.
Minister. The member from St. Mary Central.
Bear with me, because we're going to rub out Gillette this morning, you know. We're setting the stage for those of you who didn't see what happened in Parliament yesterday.
Madam Speaker,
We're setting the stage to rub
I
out.
rise today thanks to the people of Central St. Mary who have reposed their confidence in me as their Member of Parliament, and Opposition Leader Mark Golding, who has appointed me to shadow the portfolio, who has appointed me to shadow the portfolio. I want to congratulate Minister Matthew Samuda on being assigned to his own ministry. I know previously he was the minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation with responsibility for the portfolio. But climate change, as I've always thought, deserves its own ministry. And I want to applaud him on being appointed to that ministry. We on this side stand ready to work with the government to ensure that our people, the people of Jamaica, have access to proper information, to accurate information, and to timely information as we prepare for what may come. But we're not altogether pleased, Minister. Events of this nature, we believe, are things we can prepare for. We know that one of the results of climate change has been more adverse weather conditions. And as a new member of this House, I find it unfortunate that I have not been a part of any briefing to advise me on what preparatory steps have been taken to get us ready during this disaster period. I'm told, Madam Speaker, that sometime in the summer, Madam Speaker, I'm told that sometime in the summer, some funds would have been provided for drain cleaning. I imagine a lot of those drains have now blocked up, and a lot of those verges have experienced overgrowth. And people in places like Port Maria will not go to bed confident tonight that should the rains come later on, they will have the safety. And I note, Madam Speaker, that the Minister of Local Government was mentioned. I want to point out that the councillors in the St. Mary Municipal Corporation indicate that the last allocation they received was for July. And so they are not in any position to step in and address with the readiness. So while we pray for help, and while we hope for help, and while we wish for help, Madam Speaker, we had an opportunity to prepare, and we did not adequately prepare. Madam Speaker, I also want to speak on behalf of some of my colleagues who welcomed the Spark program, which should have been addressing some of the roads and drains in their various constituencies. The reports I have received, Madam Speaker, is that some of those roads have been dug up, pipes have been burst, roads are in a state of disrepair, and people are worried about what the condition will be when these heavy rains come down in the next 48 hours. We also came here today, Madam Speaker, to hear, since there was no preparation for what may come, and not all the fault of the minister, because the Ministry of Works and Local Government had a role to play in the preparation. But since there's no evidence of preparation, Madam Speaker, we were hoping to hear that some emergency steps would have been taken to ensure that we can get some of those drains clean, to mitigate against the possible flooding that will come.
Watch it, Pete. Watch it, murderer.
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Minister spoke about the island-wide network of 881 shelters that will be made available as the need arises. I would love an update on the state of these shelters, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would love an update on the state of the bedding and on the availability of food in these shelters to take care of the people, the vulnerable, who may have to retreat to these shelters. 11 seconds. So, Madam Speaker, while we stand ready to work and to support and to provide timely and accurate information, we need more than word from the government of the day, Madam Speaker. We need action from the government to get us to a state of ready as we anticipate this storm. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Brilliant response.
I'm completely shocked after watching this interview to see a scientist finally explain the
brilliant response, I think, from Omar Newell. Bear in mind, Matthew Samuda is the Minister of Environment. The statement is in relation to the upcoming hurricane. He is the Minister of Environment and Climate Change. Environment and Climate Change. The hurricane and the statement linked into both areas. Now we're going to move off to the rough and tumble, where the real bitch jumped out of Juliet yesterday, almost bounced down the whole out. The way she just jumped out. This was not mothering. This was bitching. Bitch fit. I mean, you know, that one who still thinks we are in the Columbus days, especialmente English. Everett Warmington was right to tell you. We're not Christopher Columbus. We're Elizabeth and Charles. Eh? All right. Let's move off to what will come next is questions. If you get a chance to ask them. Come on, let me case with the hope of death stamping. Because yesterday was disgraceful behavior coming from Juliet Holness. But this is the time for the PNP to deploy what I have been saying for time. And it is to refuse to support the Prime Minister's legislative agenda as long as Juliet Holness is on the Speaker's chair. Because the impartiality, the bullying, that's guidedness that came from Juliet Holness yesterday, we cannot tolerate that going forward. Because if we do, the nation will not get the chance.
Would you be so kind as to take your seat, member?
Because she know what we're going to ask before we ask it. And therefore, she's going to shut us down. So the nation will only get lectured to by the Jamaica Labour Party, but never get the chance to rebut or ask questions.
Member Daly, you had stepped in late. I'm asking you not to turn your mic on. You will be able to take a look at the ruling, which was read out before you came into the sitting. That's why your mic is going off.
Her jump out of her nearly bounce we down. She expect we to come out here and have manners and respect for her. Who hasn't done their job well? Andrew Holness, the husband with his girlfriends, or Delano Siv right this time? Because you come out here very miserable, you know. You come out here very miserable and unsatisfied, probably in the bedroom, in your lover. Not financially. We know financially you're not unsatisfied. We know probably in the bedroom, at home, this, that, or the other. We know you have problem. It is, though, not our fucking business that you can come to our job and come behave like the raging Madam Bull Cow that you are and expect us to have manners to you? No, spare me the bloody thought, lady. Nobody get the chance to ask a question because Juliet know what you're going to ask and Juliet don't want it to be asked. Now, I assume Monday from St. Mary his question was related to mudslide. But especially in Parliament when asking a question, I don't know.
All right, so members, in this order, like your hands were raised. The member from St. Mary Southeast was first. The member from St. Catherine Eastern after. Then the member from Kingston Eastern after that. The member from St. Andrew Southeast was fourth.
Question. So you have to frame the question.
I was asking. That's why she came down to confirm if you were gesticulating for the member beside you or yourself.
Those are big words. It's not that Juliet is just biased. She's incompetent and inexperienced for this role. This is a role fitting for someone with a legal background. This is why, even though Marissa Dalwympe Filbert, the thief, isn't an angel, she did this job in a more better way than Juliet Holness, because Juliet Holness don't understand the legalities of the job where she had done.
I never saw. And the last person was Dr. Brownberg, member from Southwest St. Andrew.
And the Korea team is here to review results.
결과가 좋아 보이네요.
Her behavior was very, very great.
Great.
Very.
Glad to hear it. Let's talk next steps. I'll coordinate with the team.
In a circumstances,
so, energy.
As to how
however you use your energy,
made,
we make it simple.
You would call that an
we do energy,
you
do you.
Circumstances.
So, energy.
Leeway should be made for MPs across the
members, it is not funny. I know we like to be hilarious.
Of the minister.
However, this is important to ensure that we don't spend our sessions at Parliament going over my proceedings. It is very disorderly. And every effort was made to conceptualize a mechanism that is in keeping with the standing order, but that works for you. I can send for him. It will be the same. Speaker is the speaker. It doesn't matter which of the two of us. Minister, equally, I'm asking you, once you have turned on your mic to commence responding to questions, that you do not turn it off.
And I want you to listen to her tone of voice when she's talking to members of the People's National Party, as opposed to when she's speaking to members of the People's National Party. Listen to her tone of voice.
Until the session is complete, as a reminder. Let's see how that system works today. There's one member who said his hand was up. Member from Clarendon. You said your hand was up? Because I didn't see you. Yeah. I didn't see him either.
A be a disturbance.
All right, so members, let's go. Question from St. Mary's Southeast, please.
Yeah, the problem
question.
No.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I have the honor of rising as a member from Southeast St. Mary.
Let me stop that right now. You will have an opportunity, every member of this House, to do your constituency debate and to grandstand.
Thank you.
At statement by Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
After Virego.
Minister.
Member from St. Mary. Member from St. Mary Southeast.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member from St. Mary Southeast.
Yes.
For those persons who are not au fait with the standing orders and the operations of Parliament, I will advise you. Statement by Minister.
Let me respond to what Raymond Norman says. We need to go back to the old mic system because Juliet Holness used the system to dominate, sabotage, and switch off the nation's voice in Parliament. Labour right now speak for we in a Parliament. Labour right speak for Andrew Holness in a Parliament. We send PNP there to speak for us. And under this new mic system, Juliet Holness regularly shut us, the nation, down or out of a debate.
Is followed by a 5-minute response. It is the only response that is made in the House to a statement by Minister. After which, only questions are taken. And your questions need to be exactly that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Once again,
Madam,
please avail yourself of Standing Order 11A with also emphasis on stand.
Little girl, you see, just like how you lose your man, you're going to lose that job here too. It may be long, darling, dear. Certainly, it will not be forever. So just like how you lose the man, you latch on to the man and you still lose him. Latch on to our high chair, you're still going to lose it. Latch on to your wealth, because maybe you go that you keep if you don't end up at prison with it, you bloody thief. But you're going to lose, just like how you lose Andrew Holness, because what you do in a Parliament, and what job you come in there do, it's the matey war and the feeling and the feelings war that we always say that display coming from you, tyrant, Virego. Lose your man to your junior, and you take it out pan we the nation like a we make road a win over you. It's not our fault, darling. It's what you may not have done or have failed to do. I know we make you lose, Andrew. Stop when you come to Parliament. Stop take it out pan we're tired of it. We expect you to do a job. That's what you've been paid for. But if come with your pain and anguish from home and story that Andrew did come home or if Steve Wright, woman allow him to come see you last night, or what is it?
Standing Order 17, subsection 2.
Thank you, Madam.
Proceed,
Madam
please.
Speaker, simply saying that I am pleased to stand in the capacity as member from Southeastern St. Mary. And
you know, me love with that MP. Every time Juliet try push him down in court,
and I want to thank the minister for his statement. Landslides are a feature of these systems that are before us and that we are discussing today. In fact, over the past...
She turned off the mic again. And she presume or assume what the question is going to be. But even after about 5 attempts, him still don't get the chance to ask the question. Everybody raise a concern on the People's National Party bench. We're told to sit down. To sit down. That's what the
members.
Sit down.
Members.
Take your seat.
Members. I am sure all of us. Member, please take your seat.
And if you watch her as well, you know, she's confused by the many papers in front of her where she don't understand where going on the paper them. Confused. That come. If the nation allowed Juliet Holness to continue,
members,
like
if you
this,
would like to proceed,
what business
the
of
order
will get done
in respect of statement by ministers, and I'll reiterate it because I do not think any member is desirous of standing and making a statement when you have been advised by the Speaker that it is not to be done. You are required to stand and ask your question. And it is for the efficient order of this Honorable House. And it is for every single member of the House. So members, whether from the government side...
You have the nerve to say Honorable House with this dishonorable, disrespectful behavior that she directed to the nation yesterday. The questions, Juliet Holness, were asked on our behalf. And other than Matthew Samuda making his statement and Omar Newell respond to it, you allow no one to get clarity from Matthew Samuda on a statement concerning the upcoming hurricane, the preparedness and the aftermath, funding and all of that, and all the connected ministries and agencies. Juliet, hey, that girl, you irritate the fuck out of me, you know.
Or the opposition side may ask a question. And it is only a question that you're allowed to ask at this juncture. It is necessary. No, it's not going to be member from Northwest St. Anne, from Northwest St. Catherine. You same one member. And if I call your name based on the standing orders, so we could have finished long time, but it is obvious that it is going to be a consistent practice. So it ends today right here. Member, when you're called, ask your question and take your...
Jamaica, when you go in a Juliet living room, behave on yourself, you know. That me I want and tell you, know. When you go in that girl your living room, behave on yourself.
Your seat. Keep your mic on in the event that your question is not properly answered. Members, additionally, Do not stand and ask a question that was already asked. Member from St. Mary, Southeast.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. So as I was saying in framing my question, Madam Speaker and Minister, land slippage has been a feature of these systems. In fact, over the past few days, we have had a lot of rains in Southeast, and we have had significant landslides blocking several roads. In terms of the engagement with the NAA as it relates to clearing of these roads, Minister, I'm advised that there is a reluctance on the part of the contractors
Member,
to...
Member, point of order.
Yes.
Point of order. The question being asked by a member must be related to the statement made by the minister.
But I'm going there. I'm doing that.
The minister is not...
Right. In the minister's statement, the minister make reference to the National Works Agency. One, the National Works Agency is the one who's responsible nationally for the clearing of roads in the event of a hurricane or in the event of land slippage. How is this question not connected to the Minister of Environment and Climate Change statement? All because the contractor bit coming a hit where they cannot get contractor to work with them because labor right don't pay a contractor, and it's across all sector. That's what they don't want to come out.
In charge of landslide.
But
You can ask me a question. Okay? These new members need to know the rules. You can't go landslide and road on the environment and climate change. It has nothing to do with what it says. The question...
Landslide and climate change is connected. It is, my girl. Sister Selena, climate change and land slippage and environment, Sister Selena, they're all connected. You may not know, but it's the reality.
Must be related to the statement made by the minister. That be in relation to the statement by the minister.
Yes.
Now, the good thing about the St. Mary's Southeastern candidate, you could get him off topic every time, even
Gorgeous bouquets are up to you. Leave smooth sails up to us.
But every time he stands, he goes right back to what's irritate them.
May I proceed, Madam Speaker? The member who raised the...
No, member. Your leader of opposition business stood. Would you be so kind as to allow him?
Madam Speaker, I am very much aware of your intention, but I just am asking, Madam Speaker, especially as questions are framed, for there to be some leeway in allowing the member, especially where the issue is already raised in the statement, as it was. And it was just in reference to that statement that the question was being framed. I'm asking, Madam Speaker...
He didn't stand on a point of order, however, he was given the latitude as he was speaking on behalf of the members on his side of the House. So that's why I permitted the member to speak. Thanks, opposition, leader of opposition business. Members, I am happy to sit here very quietly until you're ready to continue with the sitting.
Given Juliet's wholeness behavior yesterday, you cannot say one is rude to call her a bitch because her behavior yesterday was entirely bitchy. It was a bitch fit. It was a hissy fit of bitching from the Speaker of the House and wife of the Prime Minister. It was a bitch fit.
Member from St. Mary Eastern, from St. Mary Southeastern.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The member.
Juliet Wholeness.
The member who raised on a point of order from St. Catherine Southwest is actually correct. I have heard the pleadings of the leader of opposition business in the House. However, the statement by the minister is as it relates to the weather system, even if reference is made to landslides. In respect of questions you're asking about landslides and clearing of blockage and its connection to NAA.
But it's a necessary bumbleclot factor after the election, fool. You calm down. What such idiot thing? Who then does the clearing of road, land slippage, falling tree? Or I am not hearing this fucking idiot clearly. Did she go back home and listen to the rubbish?
Or, in fact, even, that's what he asked. I listened to his question. I'm not sure if some persons even listen. It would not be an appropriate question for the minister based on the statement he made.
But with
so
all this,
phrase your question.
All of these things, asshole, are a possibility in the aftermath, you fucking fool, of a hurricane. How is it not an appropriate question, you idiot?
In keeping, and members,
Madam Speaker, the issue that we are discussing in terms of the system.
No, member, ask your question, and that's not an appropriate question.
Can they, and thank you for allowing me, Madam Speaker.
Ask your question.
Can the minister advise me and the House if, because as I said, there is a difficulty in terms of contractors indicating that they are not getting paid to clear the road.
Member, please take your seat.
That girl you have.
Member.
Sure.
Take a seat.
That girl you have. Not
the member from St. Mary Southeast, please take your seat.
Question. This is such an important question, especially for those Jamaicans who live in the hilly and mountainous areas of the. This is such an important question for hurricane period, given we're on hurricane watch, given the minister's statement. Who then, at this point, you dumb idiot, that this question should be posed to, other than the minister who came to Parliament, who in his statement make reference to the National Works Agency, ODPEM, local government, or Juliet Wholeness never heard or have not read Matthew Samuda's statement.
House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I think, as has been said, I think
chicken
the
breast
House would
cheese stand
flow
up to whatever
a lot
reason.
better if members would
Chicken
go
breast
directly
Paris.
to the question. Right? There is no need for a preamble. Right? Just ask the question as you were about to do, and then we would recognize that the question that you were about to ask is not in the remit of the minister who gave the statement.
I want to come out of people, man. Flat Green and Juliet Wholeness, come out of the people, them, man, yeah? Because as far as I'm concerned, only not able to do good in a food, no mind. Come out of the people, them, man.
So I would say to members, just go directly to the question. If there is need for additional clarification, when the ministers are answering, they will ask. Just ask directly the questions.
Your business is only using 20% of its data. You could look for the other 80%.
This is why, you know, in some countries, you see fights break out in parliament. It is for people like Juliet Wholeness behavior. Why you see in some parliament across this world, you'll see fight literally break out in parliament. Juliet Wholeness used this mic as our dildo. Pardon the expression. But she turned it off and on when it suits her. Is it not? She turned it on and off when it suits her. If we don't want the parliament rough and tumble, come to Britain, go to South Africa Parliament.
The member from St. Catherine East, you may now turn your mic on.
The rough and tumbles in Parliament. Everybody wants respect of Jamaica when they don't earn.
So, Madam Speaker.
No, you don't have any more questions. Do you have any other questions, member? So, member, once again, I hope you took note, ask your question. And member, this is an observation that has been said to every single member of parliament in the previous dispensation, and I would want to also say it for the benefit of every member here. None of us as members of parliament are to be involved in any procurement and contract arrangements. So please refrain from those type of statements or questions.
On a dirty secret, because Nesta go rise on the same thing too. On a dirty secret to not try cover, but Southeastern St. Mary just weren't having it.
No, member, hold on. So,
member.
The arrangement of turning on your mic is what allows you to speak. If your mic is off, you should not speak in the House. That is the standing orders.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and that's why I was given the context, but I'll ask the question specifically. Is the minister aware that the outstanding payments to contractors...
This is what hot them. Sin turn off the mic again, then don't want to hear say, the reason why this thing them now is because they're not in the contractor. No.
Member from St. Mary Southeast, take your seat. Member from St. Catherine. Member from St. No.
She confused with the paper them.
The member from St. Catherine Southwest, what is your point of order?
The issue I've already ruled on that issue. Payments by NW has nothing to do with Minister of Environment, Climate Control and Water. And it makes no mention in the statement by minister. Questions must be related to the statement made by the minister. And you already ruled on that. Did he talk about payment? You nincompoop? Did he speak about payment?
Right. That Juliet Holness did not address. Nincompoop is unparliamentary language. And Juliet Holness should have a request Everard Warmington to withdraw that language. But it just brushed over our head because she can't make Everard Warmington attack her, you see.
The member from St. Catherine East. The member from St. Catherine East, please ask your question.
I want to say something.
See?
Leader of the opposition. Leader of the opposition. Leader of the opposition, you may make your statement on the mic as the leader of the opposition bench so that I can have it properly recorded.
She disrespect Mr. Golden, yes, sir, you know, because Mr. Golden is communicating with his colleague and she is saying to Mr. Golden, speak to all of us, address all of us, or shut the fuck up, is what she's saying in short. This is a girl, yeah. This is a lonely, this is a rich but lonely girl.
Oh, he's making a statement.
This is a lonely girl, yeah. Look at what loneliness has cost. Money and wealth. Juliet Holness. We can write a book. When it comes to say money and wealth, don't make you happy. Juliet Holness, we can write a book about you and use you as an example. You're one of the most unhappiest people in this isle of Jamaica, right?
Do you have a point of order? Do you have a point of order?
Unhappy piece of shit.
We're all busy.
This is an
optimizing, synthesizing, uploading, downloading. We're all just so
not worthy to be addressed as anything other than a piece of shit, because that's how Juliet Holness behaves.
Everybody ready?
Yes. It is the same foolish mentality, Juliet Holness, why your marriage broke down.
Do you have a point of order, member?
The same foolish mentality. Why
Madam
your
Speaker,
marriage broke down? Because Holness has said, boy, if a two man go in your might as well, me go to road, go take up a man or a different woman, but the two we can turn in your turn, man.
I wish to state that members of parliament are
What's
not...
your point of order, member?
I find the line of questioning by the member to be very dangerous. As members of parliament are not party to contracts between the National Works Agency and the contractors. So it is very dangerous for a member without having access, unless they have access to the books of the National Works Agency, to stand in Parliament to make claims about payment of contractors without providing any evidence of it. Are you a party to a contract between the government and contractors? It's a very dangerous activity, Madam Speaker. Very dangerous.
You, House Leader.
It's not dangerous. If the fact that we cannot get services because contractors, third party are contractors that you have to pay in order for the services to be delivered to us, we can ask question about it. He's not making a statement. He's asking a question. And the payment of contractors or the money owed to contractors was a part of the framing of his question, you piece of shit. Why didn't done say a 5 more year, 5 more years of this we have to go to, Lord Jesus. 5 more years. What has the people of Jamaica done? Have you asked yourself the question? What have we done to end up with Andrew Holness and 48 teeth for 5 years, and Andrew Holness and 30 teeth for another 5? What have we done?
So, Madam Speaker, I appreciate that we do have new members in the House.
Chicken breast Harris, hurry up, please.
It does not have to be in a spirit of acrimony. The Speaker is trying to give directions in relation to the question that is being asked, guidance. Now, the standing orders say clearly that the proper object of a question is to obtain information on a question of fact which is in the official cognizance of the minister to whom it is addressed. So if the Minister of Environment gets up and speaks, and you start by asking him about the NWA, which is not under, you start by asking him, guys, you start by asking him about the NWA, which is not under his purview, then that would not be a proper question. And that's what the Speaker is saying. So once you start like that, then the Speaker and other members will intervene.
Slide Green, collective responsibility allows the question, and I tell you why. These are connected ministries, Floyd Green. Besides, this is an emergency statement in relation to Hurricane Melissa, where all these agencies in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, or before or during, will have to work together. The National Works Agency and their contractors form part of the whole recovery process. It is for Matthew Samuda to take the question and feed it back to the necessary ministry as a part of collective responsibility. But on an emergency issue, you don't shut down the entire nation trying to get information because something might iggy you, or you don't want to hear people say, name off with money and we can't get the service them. What is it?
Intervene to say that on a point of order that is not what is meant. So what I would say to you, Speaker, if the member can ask a question that does not fly in the face of the standing orders, that is something that the minister has under his portfolio, there will be no problem. So if you ask that question, fine. But if you don't, if you start with something, then the Speaker will intervene. Thank you, Speaker.
What may I tell you, yesterday was a disgraceful showdown. To know that it's about the hurricane and the nation couldn't get to ask any question.
Members, as Speaker of this Honourable House, I listen very keenly to the statements made when questions are to be asked. The question being asked by the member is improper and so ruled. Please move on from that statement. It is your third time being told. Your third time being told. You may ask for clarification, member from St. Catherine Northwest.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, a statement was made today by Minister who is appointed to a particular portfolio. In that statement, paragraph 5, the Minister said, and I quote, "We are particularly mindful of the potential for landslides in our mountainous parishes, especially in areas of soil saturation is already high." Therefore, I am confused as to how it is that it is not appropriate within a question to this particular statement, regardless of the minister's portfolio. The minister was appointed by the government to make...
Exactly. So you take the bloody concern back to the cabinet. If it's not your portfolio, it's simple. That's how a cabinet operates. That's how the Westminster system operates. Oh, God, mercy on us.
This particular statement. Therefore, without being properly briefed...
Member, thank you very much. You may take your seat. No, member, you may take your seat. Member, take your seat, please. Member, take your seat, member. Don't, member, take your seat. Member.
Labor rights. Do you think Juliet Holness' behavior yesterday was appropriate? And given that Juliet Holness' behavior yesterday affect the safety of all Jamaican labor rights or PNP, do you think Juliet Holness displayed the appropriate behavior yesterday?
Member.
Answer that question. Juliet Holness wasted over an hour without giving anybody on the opposition bench to ask a question. Not one single question. And this is about the nation's safety. Can you imagine? This is a matter of emergency. This is not something we're going to deal with down the road 5 years from now. Within 48 hours, we can have flood, we can have torrential rain, we can have wind, we can have all sorts. We can have tidal surge. And people want to get information and the preparedness of the government in relation to Hurricane Melissa. And the nation was shut down. The nation was told, when asked a question, take your seat. Your question is irrelevant. Your question, she said, is improper. Take your seat. And that's what they know, Jamaica. That is where we are. Where we're manhandled by this JLP government at all levels.
Questions. Page 8 of standing orders. Number 14, nature of questions. Questions may be put to a minister relating to any subject or department with the responsibility for which he has been charged, or with regard to which he has been assigned the responsibility of answering.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He is the Minister of Environment. The question is about land slippage. He is the Minister of Environment. The question is about land slippage. You deliberately use the framing, use a part of the framing of the question to attack the man and throw the nation's question out, which the question is about land slippage. The question is not about contractor. The question is more about what you all are going to do to make sure contractors take care of the land slippage them. But the question was never given the chance. Hold on.
The questions. Member.
Look how much of our time wasted yesterday and we got no business done.
Members.
Look how much time was wasted yesterday and we got no business done because Juliet Holness is saying, do it my way, not the nation's way. Not the nation's way. Do it my way. I don't know how come the environment, a hurricane and the environment minister don't link together. I don't get it.
Members, are there any more questions? Members, are there any more questions?
Madam Speaker, I had written to you earlier, and I'm not too sure if you are...
Member, please do not speak about writing to me earlier, unless it is that,
Listen to her respond just to a simple question from Philip Palwell. Listen to the tirade.
Is that you are aware that your communication has reached me. I have nothing that you have written to me about. So, leader of opposition business, any statement you will be making in respect of writing me, I would like to be written to and see such first.
Asshole, he asks you, say, he don't know if you see the letter when sent. Lord Jesus. When you fool, you fool. When you're a fool, you're really fool.
Statement by ministers. My last ask, are there any other questions on this statement by minister? Any other question on this statement by minister? Leader of opposition business, you would have to come and indicate to me exactly of what you speak. Because, yes, you may approach.
A long time for wholeness left. But it don't look like Civ Writer do for him job well neither. Because she's still angry. You'll see. I mean, when woman find a good Thai boy, the husband couldn't break down the world around her. She never see and it never really irritate her because her Thai boy keep her so occupied. But Juliet Wholeness, it don't look like even for your Thai boy, because we know husband got along in the work for a long time, because a long time Andrew Wholeness I got Poly Royal, Go-Go Club and Gemini and all of those places. So we know say Andrew Wholeness not tarry at home for a long time. We did think though the grab round waist, touch bum, nearly kiss in a parliament where we see fire and Delano Fever. We did think that I go keep you at a most, but you come back madara. You come back madara than you left the last time. Me not think you been so mad the last time when you left. But to the PNP, I saw Juliet Fitchie, you know, because they were not seeing the way how Angela frown and fraught over the harlot. Because you all know what Andrew Holness put her back there for, is to do the bed blocking and the cop blocking of Parliament. That's what she's there for. But the PNP have a tool that they can deploy against her. And I think this is the best time to do it, where the People's National Party, now with that protest yesterday, must stand and say, we will not support Andrew Holness' legislative agenda while Juliet Holness is the Speaker. Make Parliament come tumbling down. Make no legislation can pass in a Parliament. Make Andrew Holness can get no legislative cooperation. We're not going to cooperate on the Constitution either, as long as the tyrant sits up there. Mark Golding and the opposition must deploy these tactics now. Juliet Holness is not and will not be behaving any better. She will not be behaving any better. So the time is now for the People's National Party to deploy on her that final tactics. We will not support the government legislative agenda as long as Miss Holness is sitting in that chair. She is too impartial. She's too much of a bully to hold that umpire position. She cannot. And I don't know what the PNP is waiting for to come out that strong. Because if it's just about walking out of Parliament, you're going to have to prepare to do a lot of that. Because this stupid idiot is always going to be a stupid idiot. So either on a plan to walk out of Parliament every day or every week, or you decide we will not sit with this government until Miss Holness is removed from Speaker of the House. Because we now get no unbiasedness and impartiality from there. It's just a partisan speaker. And that's not what it's meant to be. So if the PNP, you see how long you have Mike Turner for doing own business, him and Floyd Green. If the PNP want to show us that they're serious, because what we saw yesterday, we saw that in the last Parliament, didn't we? You remember that showdown between her and Fitz-Jackson?
So members, member, that's not how the Speaker operates.
Who else was it at
So
the
I'm going to say it for the final
debate?
time. Your question must
debate.
be, as it relates to the statement that was made by Minister today, your question must be exactly in keeping with the statement by Minister. That is the ruling. Your question should not be questions about National Works Agency, Ministry of Health, and all the other ministries that this minister is not responsible for. All your questions must be questions in respect of his statement and ministry. So this is my last time. And that is a ruling of the Speaker. Member from St. Mary, Southeast.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The minister, in his statement, said this administration is one that puts the concept of
just go
joined-up
straight to the question,
government.
member.
Is the minister aware of outstanding amounts?
Member, please take your seat. Please take your seat. Please take your seat.
You want to know how I'm going to design a sponsor city?
The water here is so calm. Even little ones can play
in
safely.
depressing state, Jamaicans. It has now become a family corporation. That which we always call my Jamaica, sweet Jamaica. Brand Jamaica may be, but certainly that Brand Jamaica has become a family corporation. It's what they want us to say that we are allowed to say. We are not allowed to question them.
Members,
about our affairs.
Are there any other questions in respect of the statement by Minister?
This is our affairs. Not to let Holiness's affair. Not to let
Are there any other questions?
Nations here. This is very critical in Jamaica. This is a life and death scenario. We know hurricane in our home. And life and death. This is what she has shut down. A life and death situation. She has shut down question. And you think they care about us?
The member from St. James West Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Come reject, hurry up.
Madam Speaker, my question to the Minister is about the preparedness protocols of the relevant ministries and agencies. Where can they be accessed?
The member
But may I tell you, it was disgraceful yesterday, given how important
the member from Westmoreland Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There's a question to the Minister. Quickly, Minister, will there be, in the light of the impending disaster, will there be any emergency funding being made available to satisfy like drain cleaning and stuff like that, knowing that we're still in the hurricane season?
Are there any other?
You know, she said the way Val's question is also irrelevant.
Other questions? Minister. Oh, you have another one?
Madam Speaker, I am here on behalf of the residents of Southeast St. Andrew who are anxious because 4 weeks ago, when we had heavy rains,
what is your question?
I'm coming to it.
No,
I am coming
ask
to
your
my question. I am coming to my question.
Members, it is very evident. It is very evident. It is, members, it is very evident that the questions are not in respect of the statement by Minister. The member from Westmoreland Western, from Westmoreland Central, his question was not in respect of a statement made by the Minister, and neither is this question being asked by, neither is this being asked by the member from St. Andrew Southeast.
He hasn't said anything. Jesus Christ, this morning. He hasn't said anything, darling. They say if you talk to hog, you have to grunt. But these pigs don't even understand when you grunt these days. Darling, he hasn't said a thing. He hasn't said a thing there. I feel that there's a duppy. One duppy in a parliament a whisper in a Gillette ear. He hasn't said a thing, darling. Whatever you heard, he never said a thing. That mic becoming like a rose around the field now. On and off when ready. And the mic become her power now. She switch it off as and when she feel like. No, sir.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Members, there's a question from the Leader of Opposition, the member from St. Andrew South.
I'm very concerned by the way in which the proceedings are being conducted. We are attempting to ask questions. We are attempting to ask questions arising from the statement. The statement was a wide-ranging statement. It not only touched and concerned the specific minister's portfolio, he also said he was speaking on behalf of the Minister of Local Government, who is overseas, who has direct responsibility for disaster preparedness. On more than one occasion, the member on this side who was sought to ask a question has been prevented from completing the question, and instead a point of order has been taken, which I don't know what the ruling was, or you yourself have intervened to prevent the statement, the question from being asked. I want to know what the question was that the member for South East St. Mary was seeking to ask. I don't know what his question is.
Member,
Which is it? Burr or Bar? That was where Mark Golden led his team out of Parliament. But we need a bigger protest and a bigger pushback on the government when it comes to the Speaker of the House. For the point that it will not get any better, it will continue like this throughout the 5 year. We cannot allow them to only cooperate when they want support for their legislative agenda, while when it concerns the nation business, they are not happy to give any leeway. So I'm saying to the People's National Party, yes, the protest yesterday, the pushback and the protest yesterday was good. Congratulations to the Southeastern St. Mary candidate who continued to press on the question every time he gets the chance. They couldn't chip him off messaging from that particular question. The People's National Party ought to be more serious on the issue of House Speaker. Refusing to cooperate with the Prime Minister on anything that the Prime Minister requires the 2/3 majority vote on is a tool that the PNP must deploy to remove Juliet Holness from the chair. Otherwise, Andrew Holness has no cooperation from us. What on earth is stopping the People's National Party from doing that? It's not going to get any better. She is going to bitch her entire way through the next 5 years, as she bitched herself through over an hour of Parliament yesterday without any government business, any of the nation's business been done. Something as critical as the nation's safety in a pending hurricane, which could turn out to be disastrous. It was a fucking show of disgrace yesterday. Pardon the expression. Thank you very much for being here this morning, whether you are member or member, whether you are burr or bar. Thank you for being here this morning on Global T. Oh, we have some information for you. Digital ID is coming wherever you are. Will you stand up and take it willy-nilly, or will you start your pushback? Or will you start your pushback as the people in the United Kingdom have started their pushback on the digital ID? Because they're going to find a way to tweak and twine it, Jamaica. But are you going to accept it willy-nilly, or are you prepared to push back against digital ID and global control? Those are some clips from the mass digital ID protests that is going on in the United Kingdom at the moment. Because I know Jamaica, Jamaica alone, Jamaica people alone go and get abused from government. It's Jamaica people alone that sit down and take abuse from government. There are a lot of countries around the world that know what is coming under this global control mechanism, under the Pact for the Future document. We say no! Your government job is to put you up at some point at all costs to make sure they make sure them implement their world agenda. If you, the people of Jamaica, wants to walk into this control blindly, it's up to you. Last week we have no king protests all over the US. When Donald Trump was here, we have a similar protest to that as well, because people were calling for us to have the chance to elect our head of state in Britain, because we're fed up of the king galanging. But my people, all we can say is wake up. It is about to go down. And if you're not prepared, you might just be on the wrong side of the coin. Thank you very much for being here with us this morning. Lovely to have your support as always. Please give us a follow if you're new, and join us back this evening for the People's Point of View. Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon from Global TV.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with us. feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear not hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside a rub and cheat and not press the poor. Make up what I seen to. Big him and throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Big him and throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. So, my favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out, I sell out Babylon. They give man show and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man show and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day they can sell out Rasta and sell out, I sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the Friday. You might throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black baby man, throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one, big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black, big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.